yeah, I posted the link to the True Earth wiki. It is, well, it's not that long. I mean, it's trueearth.wikitide.org/wiki/main_page for all the people listening. It's not going to take you that long to type it out if you don't want to click the link. Heracles gifting the memberships. We got a lot of support in the chat today. Actually, it looks like trueearth.wikitide.org/ or just .org will take you right there without the wiki or the main page. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I think I might be able to put up some of these other videos. It's going to take me a little bit more time to get them up. YouTube is being very, very strange. Actually, I think the NASA fairy tale videos, for some reason, it has less of a problem with that. It doesn't like the Rampage Jackson video for some reason. Oh, man. YouTube is really funny. So let me get the NASA fairy tales video up. It really does not like Rampage Jackson. Talking about Flat Earth, that's so weird. Alright, let's look at NASA Fairy Tales Smashed. I should be able to get this up in a couple seconds. I should do a whole podcast on what YouTube likes and doesn't like for whatever reason. Oh, David Royce here. This will definitely be my first YouTube membership as well. A lot of first timers here. Alright, so yeah, I should be able to get this video up now, and we can take a look at it. NASA Fairy Tales. Oh, audio's not working.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Apollo computer had 32K of fixed memory and 2K of erasable. That was it. No screen, no sound, no icons, no nothing. Just, and the keyboard just had, it had 0 through 10, read, clear, and enter. No graphics, no screen, no. On its best days, it couldn't get to 1 megahertz.
And yet somehow they're sending all these video signals in color from the moon. Very, very strange. Flat Bob joining the party here, gifting the memberships, man.
So it was slow and weak, but it got its there.
I haven't
get it? How did they get so now in 2024? I mean, they should be getting their super quack, right? Right?
Seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Right, we've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
This is pretty hilarious.
NASA admitted that it had lost the original footage of man's first steps on the moon.
The most heralded, most famous accomplishment of mankind, of humans, the landing on the moon. NASA lost everything. They're claiming there's nothing in their archives, nothing in storage, nothing in a cardboard box someplace that has anything to do with the Apollo missions. It's all gone.
Yeah, John Thor, I think it I think it won't play that part. I was actually playing around with an algo to prevent copyright music from being played in the first place, so hopefully it doesn't play that. Worst case scenario, I can appeal it because obviously we're doing a commentary here. But thanks for the heads up.
Listen, I'm a boomer. I don't have to take shit from anybody. I've been living on debt and Social Security for over a decade. Why? Because I earned it on that cold planet up there. That's right. I did that. Me. Because I'm a baby boomer. I believe anything anyone ever tells me. We all know there's no God because some fucking retard in a wheelchair told me that with his robot voice. And we believed him because we're baby boomers and we have grit. We went to the fucking moon. I mean the hoodly daddle. When I look up at that moon, I feel proud. When you go after those elite astronauts that could keep a secret for 50 fucking years, you know how much booze Buzz Aldrin had to drink? The man's insane. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm a baby boomer. Listen, we've been in Afghanistan for 25 straight years, and I know all your friends are mysteriously now dying of heroin. But we gotta find bin Laden. They're making it so obvious we didn't go to the moon, right? It's so obvious that it's ridiculous. NASA, which gets $58 million a day. And by the way, when people say, why would we even go back to the moon? There's nothing there. You have scientists from the 60s saying it would be the greatest place to have a scientific station imaginable.
That's like saying, why would you want to go to some Arctic island where there's nothing there? And yet they put research stations there all the time.
No atmosphere. You can do tests. You can see things that you would never see. You would have golf tournaments, blah, 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 blah. Okay, 1/6 the gravity. They did not act 1/6 the gravity one bit. The rovers would not have driven that way. Each rover cost the taxpayers $60 million in 1970s money. It's just nonsense. Every president has said that we would go back and then failed. Even our private sector has failed. No other country has ever went back to the moon. Technology has advanced to a degree that you can't imagine. And yet they're saying that we can't go back because we no longer have the technology. What about the calculations? Apparently it was one black woman that did it by hand. This is from NASA. It was one black woman. They did a movie about her. Did it by hand. And now they can't find it.
I thought it was like some white check. Huh, I don't know.
Okay, what about the telemetry data? 1 ton of data was reused. And now the media is saying that an intern bought them at a yard sale. You can't make this shit up. When has technology went in reverse? What other time in history has an explorer went someplace, planted a flag from a nation, and no other nation followed suit. None. Russia, China, Israel, none of them ever went again. Name one other time. Never once. Trust me, I'm wearing a lab coat.
We have Martin Kenny, and on the opposing side, scientist, cosmologist Sarah Bosman. Martin, we have to go to you first of all. Why do you think it didn't happen?
Well, there's overwhelming proof that it didn't happen. I think in the past, like you're saying, we had no way of verifying anything we were told. So we saw the moon landings, well, you saw the moon landings, and you believed it, but there was no way for you to check any of it. And now in the age of technology, as you said, a lot of the young people believe that it was faked, and that's because they are now investigating for themselves.
I find it very interesting, and we'll talk to Sarah in a minute about the scientific side that she believes. But for me personally, I just think far too many people would have had to
cover it up.
Cover up for far too many years.
Well, how many people?
To never have slipped up.
Just like all the conspiracies that were successfully covered up, or even now. I mean, we're hearing about some cold declassified stuff from like World War I, World War II that nobody ever knew about.
Her people right now are taking your pensions. You don't even know about it. Do you have to cover it up? No, you don't even know. You're still buying purses as if you're going to get that the 3K quid a month. Guess what, babbler? You're not.
How many people have supposedly gone beyond low Earth orbit, beyond 200 miles off the Earth?
No idea.
24. The entire history of humanity.
But what?
24 people.
So your point is
only 24.
But
so
what
I'm
Ruth's
saying
is there was a whole control center, operations center, backup control, all sorts of things.
Do you know what happens
Building
in
a
the
rocket.
finance department of ITV?
In the
No
finance
idea.
department.
No idea. Do you know what
checks
happens?
are late.
Do you know what happens in the executive office of ITV, right at the top?
No, but if somebody
tell
was
us
covering
nothing.
something
They tell
up,
you nothing. Exactly.
Yeah, but if
So if
somebody was
something did happen,
but if somebody's
would
covering
you-
something up,
Yeah.
everybody would have to cover it up.
So you guys knew about Jimmy Savile when he was working closely with your very company and all the royals? You know he was banging kids when they were dead?
because you would know
Sarah,
about
what
it.
do you think?
Well, there were also a lot of engineers, of course, working on these for years and years. They had to come into their job every morning thinking they were developing a rocket. And that's thousands of people being involved in the development and the testing in the labs, people overseeing the labs. It's not only the 24 people who actually went off the Earth.
The only way we can discern whether this happened or not is by analyzing and studying the actual data that was taken during those Apollo missions, right? The scientific
that's not
data.
true. That's not
Hold
true.
on, hold on. Let me finish.
Like how the world let you guys finish in the Holodomor.
So that's the telemetry data, right? So during those 4 years that they did the Apollo missions, they collected loads of data, biometrical data, design blueprints, etc., etc. Right. To end this, if we had the data now and we could scrutinize it, if we could test it, which is the scientific method.
Ah, genius, Martin. Which is the scientific method. I'm having a blast. Look at those stupid glasses. What a retard.
Test it,
You're saying
observe,
it's not
and
been
research. Not only has it not been released, NASA destroyed it.
Well, or lost
Why
it.
would they have destroyed
NASA
it?
did-
Or
well,
lost it, or they've
Well,
not released
hang on. Donald Petit, NASA astronaut and chemical engineer. This is a direct quote.
His name's Don Petite because he's mentally small. Hilarious. Classic bike returner. Seeing some gravel where I didn't see it. Nice, Martin.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to,
Right, well, let's-
but we
Right.
destroyed
Sarah,
the
Sarah.
technology, and it's a painful process to build up again.
Oh, of
You're a
course, in that
scientist.
context, absolutely. In that context, absolutely. I completely agree with him. The technology we had at the time was so ridiculously obsolete. There was nothing we could do with it anymore. It's like if you have a car from 60 years ago that was unique, if you try to repair all the parts one by one, it's going to take you way too much money. We don't.
Wait, what? Nobody repairs older cars anymore? What? What? Wait, what? Wait, what is she smoking? I mean, there's people still driving around antiques from decades and from a lot further in the past than the moon landing.
Run cars that way anymore. It was scrapped eventually because it was just too outdated. So, of course, it was destroyed, the technology in that sense. We don't
Nobody destroyed the technology of antique cars. Like, what?
Have it anymore. It wouldn't run.
Sarah, we got the technology together to go there. Why haven't we been back since, is it, what, the 70s?
That guy's getting it.
I think it comes down to the funding. I think
58 million
after
a day.
America went to the moon a few times, the people in power told the voters, why are we spending all so much money on this? Why don't we elect a party who will put our taxes to do something else? And unfortunately, it was the last time in history where so much of your taxes went to science and research.
Actually, I debunked this nonsense on the Matt Walsh video that I did, where NASA actually put in just as much money over the past few decades. How do you think they get to Mars? Allegedly, right? So the money was all there, not to mention there were tons of moon missions and even moon bases. Like, these programs, some of these programs were funded before they were scrapped. So it's not like the money wasn't already put towards it and designated.
And technology has been cut down a lot, I think, mostly for political reasons.
What do you
Cut down? So they don't have remote control rovers on Mars? It was all cut down?
think the moon is made of?
What I know the moon is, it's a luminary. That's all I know.
What, it shines?
It's a luminary. It's a luminary of some sort. So I can't go beyond that. You know, you've got a P900 camera now you can buy for under £1,000.
Yeah.
And you can zoom in to the moon. That's supposed to be, by the way, 238,000 miles away in deep, dark space. And yet you can zoom in quite close in detail with a commercial camera. And people have taken photographs and images showing it sometimes translucent. You can see through it, right? Sometimes it's got something called a lunar wave. There are many videos showing the moon with a lunar wave.
He's shouting out my nigga Crow 777.
We don't know what that is. It's all a mystery.
So you believe you couldn't possibly land on it because it's
Absolutely
not solid?
not.
If it isn't true, is he really doing any harm, or is it just an interesting theory?
There's nothing wrong with people looking at data themselves and looking at buying their own cameras and taking their own data and so on. I think the main problem with the moon conspiracy is that the people involved that would have to cover it up now also involve people in Japan with this new satellite, people in Russia, people in Australia, who would all have to be covering up when they do this follow-up. America, why would they be covering up what America did 50 years ago?
It's almost like there's an international group of cosmopolitan elite who function outside of the construct of countries. Judging by the beak on old Mrs. Potato Head over there, I think she knows exactly who I'm referring to.
This is how we do it.
We got our favorite Dunning-Kruger goof in the chat, Tsutsaka. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Tsutsaka's really good at proving all these points about fallacies in the Dunning-Kruger effect. Hello, Hobbs in here. Mr. 1-to-1 as well.
Whilst
From
in
Mark
space,
Cameron. This is from Mark Cameron.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Yeah.
Riz Gurel here as well. Hello.
So
yeah,
yeah,
all
because
the
you can
time.
see,
Yeah,
because you can see the stars.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah. It's not
which
a
is
black
cool
void.
thing.
It's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
And more than stars, you can see planets. You can
Right.
see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Milky
You
Way.
see Magellanic clouds.
Magellanic. See, I just wanted the
well,
Magellan
there's a large
clouds. I
one
didn't
and a
want to
small one, right?
Oh man, this is a pretty funny video.
Yeah.
And then you can see the zodiacal light.
Whoa. Oh.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon. The Americans and Russians are thinking of landing men on it.
Yeah, this was a pretty famous clip that, well, recently famous. It was making the rounds a number of years ago. It's definitely quite interesting.
Oh, well, that will never happen. Not on the moon.
Everybody see the wave? That is definitely weird. Wait, what was the other theory? That it's some kind of firmament repair being done? Was that the theory? It's firmament repair? Heracles says super fluid. This is Owen playing the piano? It's a good rendition. Yeah, some of his music videos are videos including his music are pretty funny too. Thanks for joining us, Tiffany. They're transmitting all that live? Wow. Wow. That's impressive. Yeah, the moon, sand, and dust behave exactly as on Earth, as if it was filmed on Earth at a certain frame rate. What a coinky dink. Alien Big Cat, check out my Apollo videos. I actually did a side-by-side of the frame rate changes of astronauts jumping on Earth and the moon. Virtually identical. There's also a short clip on MindShock of what a real moon landing would actually look like, because they actually did simulations that seemed... Their simulation videos look more realistic than the actual moon landing videos.
Deleted to save tapes by an organization that gets $24 billion a year.
I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence. And as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
Right, we've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up.
We went there and no country followed. We didn't set up bases there. We never went back. We have no scientists up there. It's the one time in human history that's the technology, we lost the technology and it's too painful to recreate. That was one of the most senior astronauts who said that.
I'd go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
The moon rocks contain trace elements that only exist on Earth. Neil Armstrong gave Holland a piece of wood.
Yeah, this is pretty hilarious. The goofs that try to cope and pretend that the moon rocks are good evidence, they never seem to want to talk about any independent testing done on these moon rocks. DJ B-Dub, hello. You're from Manchester, UK. Welcome, welcome.
And there is no chance you can broadcast live television from that distance with that amount of power now, let alone in the late 60s.
Yeah, I mean, what Owen just said about broadcasting live from the moon with that tech, or even today's tech, I think they probably could do it with today's tech. They didn't for the alleged 2024 landing, but yeah, no, back then, definitely sketchy.
It's all bullshit.
Well, I think a part of any explorer, and you saw this 100 years ago when the Arctic and Antarctic were starting to be explored. What explorers do is they go off someplace, they come back and they tell stories. They spread their experience to those who didn't have the good fortune to go. And we're doing the same thing in the venue of space, and we're using what is available to us now. If Shackleton was able to tweet, I'm sure he would have been tweeting during his expeditions to Antarctica.
What?
I would go back to space in a nanosecond. That's what I do for a living, and give me another couple of days here to get my feet on the ground, and I'm ready to go again.
Couple days? What?
And in terms of immigrating from Earth, I'd be willing to immigrate from Earth, immigrate into space, leaving Earth and never come back, so long as we had the technology so that you could survive. You know, one-way missions to Mars where you go there and then run out of air and die. That's not in the cards. If you went to Mars like people went from continental Europe to the New World in the 17th century, that model would be something I would do. I'd load my family up on the next rocket and we'd immigrate into space.
We only have one shot at this guy. Okay, a little left. Okay, now factor in the spin. No. God damn it, man. Okay, what direction are we? East, west, north, south, northeast? Factor in everything. We need to know exactly the direction, the spin of the Earth, and how to combat it, or else we're gonna miss. There's no spin of the Earth. Take the shot, retard. But that would mean Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong, and you miss every single shot when we do this. If we miss this shot, our location will be blown. We've been here for 4 days, shitting in little cans. Tell me the spin of the Earth. Like, okay, down to the left 16 inches. No. They saw us. I missed a shot. I guess it was spinning a little faster than I thought. Oh. Globe, Earth, sniper. I can see the mirage. No, that's the target. Must be a mirage. Well, I've done the calculations. 8 inches per mile squared. I wouldn't be able to see him. It's a mirage. I'm not taking the shot. It's him! Like, every sniper just shoots people. That's a fucking mirage, or that means Neil deGrasse Tyson, the bike thief with the answers, is somehow misleading me. Globe, Earth, sniper. Okay, if you factor in the curve.
The way he says globe, Earth, sniper is so hilarious.
If you factor in the curve, this is clearly a mirage.